Audio test, audio test.
Hey.
Hey. Okay, so I believe just working everything with the analyst here, making sure that our media is correct.
I cannot see you though.
Oh, you can't see me. Because I'm being a bad guy. Let me see. Oh yes, here, let me do this. I forgot I was using my OBS earlier. I was using it for something, so I forgot that I had that application still open.
Okay. Did you check the link that I sent to you? The
Ninja? Video Ninja?
Yeah, Video Ninja.
I did 2 minutes ago. So no, I haven't. I did not.
It's fine.
Yeah, here, give me 1 second. Yeah, go ahead.
I literally just set up the camera and the computer in a different room. You can see the background is different because the basement where I used to be, like, is just boxes everywhere.
Yeah, it's like what I will miss the drum set though. The nice drum set in the background. You know, that was like a style point. But you said though, I guess you said that you're about to be moving soon. So it's gonna change anyway. I wouldn't have gotten used to that look, that aesthetic anyway. But how do you feel though, right? Because I guess we're not sharing screens, so I can't. But it was funny because you shared that you thought our looks were kind of different last time and we want to have a more pleasing aesthetic. And part of me wanted to say, like, damn you, Joel, because my wife, before you ever said it, she said it after she looked at it. She's like, his background, he's very well lit, and you're like, you're dark, and it's like, you can't see you as well. And I was like, babe, it's called style. I have a stylistic view. She's like, I don't care. It's too different. And I said, okay. And then the next day you emailed me and I was like, okay, now I got to go back to my wife and tell her that she's right again, and so I got to.
No, it's not about right or wrong, right? So
yeah.
You, like, as you said the other day, you have this, you have been working on your home office for years, right?
Yes, yeah.
I just showed up, right?
Right.
I am the new kid in the block.
No, I love it. But your point is no less valid. You were spot on, and you were right, just like she was right. So I wanted to let you know.
I mean, like, my point of view, because when I look at this screen right now, it's kind of, being a like Star Wars fan, I see like Darth Vader, and Luke Skywalker, right?
Right. And we'll let the viewers pick, which is which. So I like that. We'll leave it at that. So I'm letting myself a little bit more this time, making sure, and we'll adjust it as we go.
Give me a second then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me turn off the light.
Let's see this. Let's see the Darth Vader. Now we're doing. I don't know if you've seen the movie Face Off.
Face Off, no.
It's like Nicolas Cage and John Travolta, and they're playing these personas and these characters, but at the very beginning of the movie, like within like 30% of the movie, they end up swapping spots, and it's like a cops and robbers type thing. So it goes from one of them being like the robber to now he's pretending to be the cop, and like they face swapped supposedly. So it reminded me you were like going to the dark side and I'm going to the light side. It was like we're doing the face off for swapping. I think it's pretty good though, pretty evenly lit. We didn't coordinate either.
Yeah.
We both got the nice dark t-shirts against the lighter background, so I'm liking it.
Exactly.
I'm liking it. Hey, and you'll be proud of me. I actually got a real beer this week. Yeah. Nice. Look, it's a Modelo.
Modelo.
Yeah.
Modelo or Modelo? Modelo. This look like a Spanish or Portuguese word.
Yeah, as is Spanish Modelo, and it has cerveza right above it, right? So
Modelo, translating would be motto, but the masculine motto, because in Spanish and Portuguese we have this gender, right?
Yeah, So Modelo versus Modelo.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, that's good. So
I have a different one.
Nice.
Can you see this?
Oh yeah, was that Laker Red?
Yeah.
Nice. So, looks Canadian. It's got a leaf.
Again, proudly brewed in Ontario. So I support the local beer a lot.
I like that. That's good.
So remember, this is one thing we have to do, man.
Yes.
We have to swap beers.
Oh yeah, we do have to do the great beer swap. I think that's an excellent thing. But we'll have to wait till you're at your new address, right? Once you get to your new place
next week. Let me open up my.
There we go.
But I think this is going to be very interesting, because then I'm going to select something I like.
Yep.
And share with you, and then you are going to taste, and we can elaborate on the discussion.
Yeah.
About beer.
I can show you exactly how little I know about real beer, so it'll be enlightening. That's part of this journey, though, getting better at beer and understanding.
Well, but you work in the industry, you should know better.
That's very valid, but it's weird because Southern Glazer's wine and spirits. You'll notice wine and spirits conveniently leaves out the brewskis, right? So I don't know. I think that when they did a big merger, one of is either the Southerns or the Glazers side. They had a beer portion, but the beer portion kind of stayed with the original company when they merged. So they do a lot of, obviously, the ready-made cocktails, like the premixes. I think they do sell those, even if there are some beers and stuff. So, and I don't know too much about the beers, even though the industry is highly relevant, very, very similar.
But it's funny, because when it comes to technology, even though I've been in this industry for almost 2 decades, I am not that kind of tech savvy guy. I actually, my phone is pretty minimalist. I have a very old phone. I don't want to change, not because I can't, but because I don't want. Right?
Yeah.
I don't have any apps that I use other than Google Maps, Gmail, and WhatsApp.
Okay. Nice.
And
I actually like that.
I don't like to learn new technology if I don't have to.
Yeah. So, I think, I love hearing this thought, and I think this is going to be a topic where we one of those topics where we kind of dive away from intelligent automation. And as two adults and someone who has a young daughter, and I have a teenage boy and then a young kid myself, right? I think that I'm very highly interested in this because of what the science says that social media apps are doing to our kids, right? There's a very, very big issue with female suicide rates because of social media apps. There's a proven correlation in today's society around this. And so one of the people in our previous episodes, and this is all connected, by the way, so I'll loop this in, but one of the people in our previous episodes asked about a piece of technology that Marquise, a famous YouTuber, recently bashed called Rabbit, right? And it was sort of like this AI thing that was kind of gimmicky. There wasn't a lot of value to it, but nonetheless, I thought that the concept itself could float, right? If I could go back and reinvent the phone and give you some of the core functionality you actually need, but remove all of the bull crap and the apps and and everything else, but kind of still give some of the camera functionality if you want to take a picture, give you some of the things you need, but take away all the nonsense. I wonder, if that would help. But I think that what is your opinion on being a parent today that says, hey, no social media apps on your phone. You think that that's a doable approach? Is that what is your position on this? Having a child of your own,
you may okay. I don't know how you're going to take this, but my daughter doesn't have a phone at all.
I love it. I think it's amazing.
And she's 12. She's in September. She will turn to 13. So now we are thinking on on giving a phone to her. But even if we do that, no social media whatsoever.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and sometimes I feel bad because on her previous class, she was the only one that didn't have, right? So it's tough on her as well. I get that, but see, you won't believe the amount of books she reads. She reads many books. Like we don't buy books because we have an amazing public library here. I go there, I get like 5-10 books.
Yeah.
She reads like 2 or 3 in one night.
That's great.
Yeah. So I get that. Actually, to be honest, my true opinion, kids shouldn't have phone whatsoever.
Yeah.
And social media should be only after certain age. Like,
yeah.
The later, the better, right?
I agree.
So, because then they can explore the world in a different way, in a more personal way, right? More physical, get in touch with people, talking to people, experience things other than just scrolling on social media. I feel pretty bad. And I told you, I struggled quite a lot with YouTube Shorts. And finally I got away from this, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm very, very happy, to be honest, because I don't like. That was one of the things that I did because it was kind of addicted,
Yeah, absolutely.
That short satisfaction.
That dopamine.
I was, oh my God, this is so dumb. Why I'm doing this? Oh, this is good. Oh, but was really tough. But finally, I got rid of YouTube on my phone. I don't have it anymore. But yeah, my daughter doesn't have. I feel that it's amazing for her. It's beneficial for her.
Yeah,
In one aspect, right? In one hand, you have this amazing time that she has with books, with other things, with interactions. But on the other hand, I get it that it is difficult on her because she is the only one that doesn't have a phone, right? But it's still, right? I think it is still worth it, the effort.
Yeah, like it's a battle you have to fight, right? It came out when I recently read an article online that talked about that, right? It stated that, if this is the decision or a path that you want to make, you have to be aware that it does still have a negative impact on your children because they're going to be the one that's considered the oddball when they don't have access to it, right? And you have to be able to kind of defend your decision. I honestly think that the decision that you and your wife are making for the sake of your daughter is an incredible decision, right? It's not one that I think, to be honest, I think that it's the most difficult decision you can make as an adult because it's easy just to do what everybody else does and let your children just succumb to being always online, right? You can't get away from bullying if people want to talk shit on you while you're at school and then when you go home, like they have that capability now. And it's tough, but from what I've only had the opportunity to meet your daughter when she stopped by the summit, right? And, as she interacted with everybody and just to see the personality she has. And it reminds me a lot like you, right? The sort of like very vibrant once you get to know him. And, and I think that, I don't know, it's weird. I would have had no idea that she didn't have access to social media yet. But when you say that, I can almost see like there's this obvious social personality that she has, and the way she interacts with people that I think the kids just are lacking nowadays, right? I think that they're literally lacking. And I've seen American teens like that I helped raise, right? That where I lived in a house when they were raised, and then I've seen them, they'll stop by in the summer and I'll see how they kind of interact with people, and then I'll see them on their phone, and it's just weird. I'm like, bro, I haven't seen you since you were like this tall, and you're here and you say 2 words and now you're just on your phone. And so, I get it. Like, I think that it sucks. It can suck, but I think that what the decision you made, it's funny. I brought this topic up having zero idea that you even were on that side of the fence, right? But incredible that you've done that. I think that it does have a value, and I definitely can see a positive impact. For maybe you got lucky that she's just that cool with people naturally, but I think that not being plugged into social media and having a high self-confidence and not really caring is great, right? I think that's a byproduct, in my opinion. So,
and you know what? Last week we were in a dinner in a friend's house, and this friend of mine, he plays guitar, and he has the amp and the guitar. So she went down in his basement and found the guitar, and she plays acoustic guitar, right? But she have never played a electric guitar.
Yeah.
So when she got the guitar and felt the vibration of the the amp, she got so excited, right? She played a lot, and she was changing the tones and whatnot. So she was really enjoying that time. So when we were coming home, we were talking, and then we told her, okay, if you had the option to choose between a cell phone and a guitar, like this one, which one would you choose? Guess which one she would choose.
Guitar, I would hope.
Guitar, of course.
Hell yeah, that's cool.
So, when she said that, I thought, yeah, so maybe it's not that tough, right, on her, because she still wants to pick a guitar instead of the cell phone.
Yeah, which is crazy, especially when that's one of those things that people might judge you for not having, right? And it could be, again, an easy decision. I don't know, man. There's just something to be said about instilling the power of delayed gratification, right? And working towards something or going through an uncomfortable time. I think that there's even science, right? I think I mentioned it on the last chat, the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, right? That activates anytime we do something we don't want to do or something that's uncomfortable, but it can grow, right? And so you can get good at like going through some uncomfortable situations. So that's cool, man. I think that's really cool. I hopefully I am able to do that with my 4-year-old when he's of age. We'll see. The other guy, our media analyst, he's too old, right? I can't. And once they have their greasy little fingers on it, you can't get them off of it after that, right? So you can if they mess up, right? If they mess up, I'll be quick to put them in. Dude, I remember. Hey, this is a joke to any parent out there who has a teenage kid. Like, if you want to see your teenager just crumble. He's like, don't tell him. You want to see him crumble, tell him you're going to take their phone away. They'll crumble. Yeah. They'll crumble. I can't need my phone. They need it. Teenagers love their phones once they have them. That's a true story.
And in this topic, this week I was listening to the radio because I still listen to the radio. That's where I get my news. Yeah. That's how I get my news. and then there was this article the guy was talking about. There's an increase on sales of flip phones, right? Not smartphones. So of course, smartphones is still like majority, almost 99%.
Yeah.
But there was a spike of 25% on sales of flip phones, right? So there's
interesting.
We can see this in many different lenses, right?
Yeah.
So it can be like elderly people, right? They don't want. I probably will not want a smartphone when I get one, right?
You say that, and it all it reminds me of is like when the phone started to get smart and me seeing my grandparents with them and them like, trying to teach them how to use like MySpace or something, right? It was just very hilarious And I don't want to be, I might be with you in the camp that I don't want to have a smarter phone and AI phone when I'm older, because it's just going to make me look like a fool, with the kids. Like, what? You don't know how to.
Yeah, but who knows how the technology is going to be, in like,
probably won't even be phones.
I am 37 now. Like, I don't know, 30 years from now, like when I'm going to be 67, 70 years old, man, I was listening to a podcast and it was so amazing. This guy that got implant on his head. How is it called?
Oh, they're like the you're talking about the Elon Musk's
exactly. Link. How is that called?
Neuralink, right?
So was the guy that got the first one, right? So the podcast was with him.
Yeah,
so he was explaining the amount of things he can do with that, and I was just so blown away, like how much technology evolved in the last few years, right? Now they can connect the brain with a computer, and the guy can control the computer. He can play games. Like he was explaining that he can play games like this first-person shooting or third-person shooting. And he can beat everybody because he doesn't have to move the hands, right?
There's nothing. It's as soon as I think of, dude. I remember we make. I play a lot of first person shooters and third person shooters. It's like what I do in my free time. So I definitely we used to make a joke like, I wonder if that's what games will be like in the future. There will be no controller. Like you'll just think about it, and you'll look around. There was a game with I think it was called Gamer. I think it was like a Gamer, like it's like a movie where they put on a virtual headset and then they're controlling like a real person that has a Neuralink and they're like shooting people. That's a pretty crazy video.
Hey, I think someone had. Yeah, I think someone wants to say hi.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, you should let her know I got a clip. Hey, I got a very funny clip of you. I'm going to add into a video at some point, but your dad was doing the interviews and you like just stood up in front of the camera and then disappeared below it. It looks hilarious. I can't wait to put it in the clip. It's going to be funny. You can't really tell, it's kind of fuzzy, but it looks really funny. Like he's just talking and then your head pops up out of nowhere and then it disappears. It was nice to see you, Hope. I'm glad you had a safe trip back.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay, now it's back.
That's too funny. Yeah. I was telling her that I had when we were doing the interviews, there was this part before you like jumped into the interview, and I guess she was at the table, and because of like where we were at, it looks like she's super close, but she's like off the camera. You don't even see her, and all of a sudden she just pops up and she's like looking right in the lens. And then she like slowly pops down. It looks hilarious. So I'm about to throw that in like one of the clips. It's so funny.
She was there for like a couple of minutes just watching, and I knew she wanted to say hi.
Yeah. They'll all be famous, right? They'll be running these shows and they'll have thousands of people watching them, when they do it. Us, the old schools, we're just getting started.
Maybe on our 5th episode.
Yeah, right. There we go. So speaking of that, let's backtrack. I wanted to tell you and any of those who are in attendance, right? Let me slide this over because it's on your face a little bit. But I was playing around with sort of like a format, if you will, on a structure of what we could do. So what I was proposing is like the first section, what we could do is it could be about the job market itself, because I've been kind of starting to collect numbers in that, and I really find that aspect to be fascinating. That's kind of why I got into this, is to promote, this field to people, to try to convince them that it's worth a career to get involved. So I thought about we could kick it off like every week with like, hey, what's the job market like? How many new job postings have there been since last week's episode? What kind of trends are we seeing? So I've already started to collect data on that. Then the second phase could be like state of automation. So that gives us kind of the ability to talk about whatever we want to talk about as far as automation is concerned. We're not kind of boxed in. And then lastly, what we're already doing, and we kind of weave this in, but a third component of our structure will be current events, right? Talking about stuff like social media and its impact on society and stuff like that. That way we kind of keep relevant. But that was what I was kind of playing around with. What do you think as far as, kind of trying to put some structure on what we talk about each week? Does this seem like something that you buy into?
Yeah, definitely. Whatever structure we can find. I mean, defining a structure for every episode, I don't know if that's a good idea, because then every time is going to be the same thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, definitely topics, bring topics to the table, different topics every session. It's important.
Yep.
Because then even we get excited, right?
Very
we
true.
Get to at least read something related to that, so then we can get ideas on what to talk and whatnot. But yeah, job market, it's really important to keep track. I actually have been tracking all the UiPath positions for quite a while.
Oh, really? Do you do you have the data points too still? Like you track them?
No.
Okay,
No,
but you just like look at them.
Yeah, just look at them.
Same,
right?
same.
So
yeah.
maybe just to find another position.
Yeah, you never. I do.
Right?
I've done that throughout my entire career, because I believe it's just smart to maintain competitiveness and know what your value is on the market. Right? You can guess how much you're worth out there, but you have to understand what companies are willing to pay at the end of the day, right?
Exactly.
So I think it's really good to understand what skills there are, and like how they, and plus you learn a lot, right? I found out when you interview with a company about an RPA position, after you're in a while, you just, by the questions that they ask you and the questions you ask them, you can find so much out about what their program's like, right? How many people they have, how important is it? What kind of investment do they have? Do they have the right team? Are they just driving everybody into the dirt, right? So yeah.
And also with by monitoring the positions, the opportunities we have globally, we can also see the trends on the technology itself, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because they're not going to hire if there's not, if they don't have projects, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
They're not charity. They're not doing charity.
Yeah.
They money, right? So they're going to hire someone that they need for specific needs, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's also the reason why I do that, and this goes back to the initial of our conversation, right? I was saying that I don't like to learn things on my own, like, meaning I don't like to learn new technology if I don't have to. And I've been on this. I think we talked this in the past, but my camera just.
He turned into, it looks like you've got this cool like pixelated like filter on it, because it's like like the internet pages, they load, it's like you're loading, but you're like loading up the screen.
Can you still hear me?
Oh yeah, we still got the audio. Yeah. Did you download the app? Did you download? You did not. You didn't download it?
I did.
Okay.
Like I was able to connect over Wi-Fi, but I couldn't find the actual setting to make the.
Open up that application, and then you'll click like start. There's some sort of way like you like once you open the app to actually connect the app to the camera where you can see the image. And then once you have that open, you're just good. You just minimize that application and it stays on. Otherwise, it's not. It just goes to sleep. Right now, you can get around the go to sleep if you remember to like go up there and like maybe just touch a knob or hit the picture button. It'll take a picture, but then it'll like reset the sleep timer. But yeah.
I will do this. I will do this more often.
But it's an app. The app is the easiest though, because the app is once you connect it, you just minimize the app and it never goes to sleep. That's a weird thing that people. It's back before people were using nice cameras for webcams. So.
Back to what I was saying. Mm-hmm. Like, because I am the technology space for quite a while, so I always get to a job and then I think, oh, this is the last thing that I'm going to learn, and then I'm going to just to settle down, get in my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And then something's going to happen. Something happens always, right?
Yep.
Your company may be sold, your product may be done, and then you have to move on, learn something new. And that is the trend since I got into this area. And man, like when I got to RPA, I finally thought, okay, I know this is not the last thing that I'm going to learn, right? So I have to keep up, and I have to keep learning. That's it, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing that I can do.
Yeah.
If I just stop, I will be that old mainframe developer that don't know anything else.
Yep.
That maybe find a good job, and if they do, they will get really good money. But if they don't have nothing to do, right?
Yeah, this would be rough. I've known those guys.
I love mainframe, by the way, right?
Yeah,
it's a very powerful. I did some mainframe coding back in the day, but man, there's still jobs, right? But rarely you see them.
Yeah. And a lot of those are terminal, right? Unless you want to be that guy that's sort of like a freelancer and just has a few accounts, right? If you're not willing to keep up, it's just, and that's the thing too, growth mindset. It's also learned helplessness is a true thing. And there's people that just don't have that ability, or they haven't learned the ability to like retrain themselves or get through that. But it's hard. Like as much as you want to get comfortable, especially if you work in the high tech space, not just IT, like we work in the high tech, which is the frontier. The frontier continues to move, right? That's the whole thought of high tech, right? You're working on the fringe. And so it is definitely an adapt or die. But I think the lucky thing about what I've seen over the last 10 years, and this is why when people will talk about, RPA is going to die and Gen AI is going to come in and destroy all this, like why I think it's funny because I've seen how long it's taken just for RPA to evolve, and for companies that there's still so many companies that don't even have RPA yet. Right, exactly. Believe it or not. And so like people are like, Gen AI is gonna. I'm like, dude, it'll take decades. So one good thing about not working just in IT but being in high tech is that unlike traditional IT and coding languages and high tech, if it's a solid software, at the end of your career, you can eventually put stakes in if you've stayed up with it, because it's not like in UiPath in 10 years. If it's still the leading industry software in 10 years. Like at that point, you can't say, hey, I'm not learning anything else. Like I'm just going to maintain this, and you'll have a job till you're done, right? Yeah. It'll be high tech will still be around, but like, we're at the front of the wave. I think that's why.
That's a very, very interesting topic. Maybe because you sent me the link, right, on LinkedIn from George post.
Yep.
That is awesome. And we, very high level, we discussed this in previous sessions about, is RPA done? And I totally agree with you, because wow, maybe the concept is shifting now, right? Maybe now we are getting a new trend where RPA is not the fancy word anymore, right?
Yeah.
People are not, RPA is the most beautiful thing that I've ever seen. Now it's Gen AI.
Yeah, it's a new catchphrase. Yeah, it's a new.
Yeah, Gen AI is everybody's doing Gen AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's fancy, yes, but it's also like, okay, just another Gen AI.
Yeah.
At the same time, right? And man, what you said is, I agree totally with you. Like, there's so many companies that don't even have RPA, right? The market is so wide and so open. There's so many opportunities, and companies like big enterprise banks, like, to get to a point where they approve AI in their systems is going to take ages.
Those guys, some of those companies will have to have people that, I don't mean this in a negative sense, but some of those companies are going to have people literally die, right? They're going to have to like retire or like pass away before they even allow their company to touch it. That's sometimes the case.
Because this gets to a point that we discussed a little bit during the summit, right?
Mm-hmm.
UiPath is doing amazing things, and I love everything that they do. But at the same time, they are not as concerned with security as a bank, right?
Yeah.
Or a financial institution, not exclusively a bank, right? Any institution that handles credit card information, for example, they have to obey or to follow the PCI standards, right? Which is one of the most secure standards that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So for those companies, like to automate PCI systems, it's very difficult, right?
Yeah.
So just to onboard an RPA, a standard RPA, is difficult. Imagine to approve a Gen AI, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Many people don't even understand like how the models are created, how the models are trained, where the data is coming, where the data goes.
Yeah.
Right? The data is the main concern here, right? Because when you are a financial institution, the most important thing is the trust.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Same can be said with the healthcare space, right? And personal information there.
Exactly.
But what I can say though on the advocacy side of the coin is UiPath is already, knee deep in some of these areas with traditional companies that would be hard to get into. And why that matters is with Daniel going back into the helm of CEO. And I just got off a call today with a guy who's a guy that has conversations with him, a guy who talks to him, and they're working through a deal with my company. Actually, I can't share any of those details, but the fact of the matter is that they're getting sentiment. I guess that there's probably a recent large company-wide meeting, and he told them what we heard at the summit, and that's like, hey, we're going back to focusing on the customer, right? And so the fact that they are, going back to your point, the fact that they already have multiple customers in the healthcare and financial industry, if they're going back to the customer, right, they can leverage those as successful case studies, right, successful referral clients, and say, hey, here's how we do it over here. And here's how these companies who usually don't let us do this kind of work with our personal data, here's how we're securing it. So I know there's use cases. It's probably just a lack of awareness, right? Just like salespeople don't know a lot of the current licensing structures, right? Some of them probably don't maybe know all of the details. So
Scroll camera. Oh, sorry.
You gotta put that app on. It will. This will be a nightmare for you, dude. Imagine.
Something is wrong with this camera because.
I'm sorry, it's so funny, like just knowing the history behind it. And I swear to you, Joe, I swear to you, this has been me. Like when I had this camera, and it's not like this is not like the white elephant gift, right? It's like cursed, and I gave it to you as a joke. But I used to do this until I found out about the app where it just stays on. Like every 15 minutes, it's gonna do something really weird.
You know what I'm gonna do? Every time that I stop speaking, I'm going to press some button there.
Yeah, I've done everything, right? I think the thing that works the most consistent is right with a little battery pack at the bottom. Because I can reach the cable, I just pull it out and I plug it back in and it powers back on. But you don't have to do that again. The app, I'll even do tech call and get that app set up so you can use it. You got to plug it in. So you have to have two connectors to your computer. It's both connections, like the USB and the HDMI, need to go on your computer and it'll be fine. But that's so funny. This damn camera. Sorry, that was priceless. Because I know I've been there. Like I've used that before for streams years ago, and I remember doing that. And I'm like, yeah, it's even worse when you're using it for like a job interview, and you're like talking to them, and then they're like, oh, and they tell you like, hey, oh, your camera's so nice, it looks so good. Where did you go? You like disappear. Like, where did you? Oh, it's so nice. Oh, what happened? You disappeared. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, something happened. My power went out.
Earlier today, I was because I'm using this for work as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I just
exactly
my work computing, and then earlier today I was in a meeting, was all good, and then all of a sudden I got a call from my manager, and then right after that I turned on the video, it was not just like it was different, like it got froze like the one before that was yellow. But then I just shifted, right? So I didn't want to play with the camera, just shift the camera to my embedded camera.
I'm crying.
You're having a heart attack.
I am. You're like all false color and like neon, and you're like, hold on, boss. I promise, nothing weird's going on. Just look at my wall. That's classic. I could just hear think too. Like you're over there thinking, like, damn, Jeremy, his asshole gave me this cursed camera. Oh, dude, it's so funny. I've been there. Once we get the app, I promise it'll be fine. But I've out epic. That's so funny. Oh man, you're cracking me. You made my day. I'm literally crying here. I'm crying here. That was funny.
Okay, but back on track.
Yes, yeah, that's your fault. We got way off track on that. It's funny.
So regarding
you move your camera so it doesn't.
Yeah, let me.
Sorry. Last time, sorry, I'll quit. Go ahead.
Regarding back to UiPath.
Yeah.
So I didn't tell you, but like I have upcoming blog post.
Nice. Cool.
And it is about security. So I got this idea. It's not idea, right? It's just okay. Let me talk about security, right? This is what I'm dealing every day, and yeah. So I just condensed a lot of security aspects related to the automation, and it's about to become be live probably in 1 week or two.
Okay. Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
Promote it on here and get people to support that. Definitely, dude. That's cool. I can't wait to read it and share it on socials.
Yeah.
And it's an important topic. I really believe that. Like there's not enough literature out there on that topic.
You know what, man? We already talked about the citizen development and whatnot, the standards and governance and everything. But even professional developers like myself, I don't know about you, but I will speak about myself.
Yes.
I didn't care about security that much, right? Essentially, I was acting like this. If there is no stop sign, I will not stop, right?
Yeah.
I would just keep going.
Brute force it, yeah.
If nobody is telling me not to do that, why should I care?
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Yeah, so, no, I mean, I agree. We just the two thoughts on that. Like when I started, there was no reframework. So security was just like, security was left at the whim of whoever was building it. And we weren't taught anything. So definitely hard-coded values where they shouldn't have been, using passwords like we shouldn't have, non-encrypted passwords, passing them through, non-encrypted strings and stuff like that. The only thing from a security perspective, I'd say that I always had buttoned down was coming from the analyst or process engineering side, as I always was heavy into very well articulated logs, right? So everything was annotated.
This is not security. This is audit.
Yeah, it's definitely audit, but you could tell how secure the rest of your solution. Well, at least let's put it there was traceability from a security perspective on what my bot was doing. You knew the hard code values because you would see them. It'd tell you that it was using them.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, this is so tough because when you get people like me, very tech savvy in programming, right? I was used to program with C back in the day. I was used to
your language, nice.
Allocate memory to the specific tasks, right?
That's cool.
So I could do a lot of things, and when I get that, and I have a spreadsheet with elevated users, right, from production, I have endless opportunities to automate, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You're not locked into something.
Yeah, if I'm not worried with security, like it's my fault, right? I cannot blame anybody. I cannot blame anybody about that, but me. But it's still like the overall platform could have some, some governance on top of that, or maybe the technology itself could. I like during the summit what we saw, the task mining and process mining, that they are going to have these features to find and to delete personal information, right, or sensitive information. I really like that.
I remember them kind of talking about that briefly, but I didn't remember how deep they got into that. Could you elaborate on what you remember them saying about those two? Because I think that's pretty significant. What do you remember them sharing? Was there stuff that we could? Well, I can't remember. Was there? It's like, it wouldn't be awkward if they didn't see you in the camera, like protecting the door.
I got it. I got totally distracted with your stuff.
I can tell because I was thinking, like, why is he looking at me like that? It shouldn't matter because as long as that door is pushed open, he shouldn't be able to open it all the way.
Is your daughter knocking out?
No, son. Yeah, son. He has long hair, but it's a boy. Yeah. No, you're good. I can probably count on one hand how many people have called him a boy when they see him. But I always say, like, it's much better to be a boy confused as a girl than a girl confused as a boy. You know, maybe people would argue with me there, but he, you know.
See, I remember one day my daughter was just a baby and we were on the grocery store. She was dressed in pink.
Yeah.
From head to toes, and this guy just came. Oh, what a little boy, very beautiful. What's his name?
No way. And we don't even we're pretty, I wouldn't say like gender neutral, but he definitely has like what I would consider like normal boy clothes, right? Like I don't think that they're girl clothes, but it's his hair, right? Like his long hair, like they just instantly think that he's a girl every single time. He's got longer hair than my wife at this point. He's never been cut. He's almost 4. And hair's never been cut.
Is there anything about it or just?
We didn't. At first, we liked the look when it was longer when he was a baby, and then we're just like, well, we're not going to cut it unless he wants to cut it. And we've asked him, and he's always no. One time, he's like, I want to cut it. I want to cut my hair, and then it lasted for like 5 minutes, and we asked him, he's like, no. I want to cut my hair. So, I mean, we'll cut it eventually if it gets too crazy. But, you know, I'm kind of waiting till he has enough that I can make a full wig. You know, that I have the full, I can get the proper coverage. Yeah, and then I'll do one of those. Yeah, I'm going to still his hair, and then I'm just going to do the comb over where I just comb it forward, you know, and we'll be good. So I needs to grow a little longer first.
The other day I was in the grocery store. I was actually on the parking lot waiting for my wife, and it was really windy.
Yeah.
And this guy was walking with 2 bags, one on each hand.
Yeah.
And the wind was so strong. His wig, it was like here, just to the back.
Convertible.
That was, and then his hands were like handcuffed.
I was about to say, so, like, did he?
He couldn't, pick it up back again.
Here's my question. Was he in the mood, like, where he cared? Like, he's like, oh, crap, or did he just, like, I don't even care, he just kept walking?
Oh, he just kept going.
he just leaned into it, huh?
I think he thought, oh, what is the worst scenario here? I will just, go faster,
right?
Go fast and get away faster.
Do I get in trouble and I break the eggs, or do I just like deal with this and make sure it doesn't fly all the way off? Yeah, exactly. That's very, very valid. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's going to be me in a couple years. No.
So regarding the task mining and process mining,
yeah.
To be honest, that's some very new topic to me as well. I've never done anything. I didn't even do any study, like, on my own laptop.
Yeah.
With that. But what I remember from the summit, because they are having this process orchestration, right?
Yeah.
And I really liked the idea of process orchestration, because now they are moving from simple RPAs or citizen development to end-to-end automations, right? So they are kind of shifting their perspective or their
focus, sort of.
Their focus, right?
Mm.
And then the process orchestration comes with that.
Yeah.
So but then you have to have the whole mining.
Yeah, you need all the functionality.
Yeah. And that's a really good idea to whoever has all the capabilities, available. Not for me. I like in my organization, we don't have that.
Yeah.
But yeah, whoever has that opportunity, it's amazing, right? The amount of things you can do, that you can visualize, can prospect, right? Automations or potential automations.
Yeah,
that's really awesome. But see, when goes back to the security, right?
Yeah.
When you are mining information within the company, right? You have to be very thoughtful on the information you are gathering, right? And storing. And that's extremely, extremely relevant, especially again, back into PCI, to PII, to health, health organizations. So those kind of information, like, it's not that they're valuable. They are. What would be the word, appropriate word? They are. Oh my God!
It's like very important. I can't even think like the correct how you classify it, but I get what you're saying too, and it's even different for different organizations, right? Like you're saying, like a financial institute and what data belongs in that category would be different than my organization that deals in distribution and versus manufacturing company, right? So there's different ways that you got restrictions or companies that might view it restrictions differently.
Yeah, but anyway, regardless the data, like they were saying that there's going to be a feature that you can put to identify this kind of information, right?
Yeah, then like a tag almost.
Yeah, eventually you just pick it up from the database and purge.
Yeah.
So that's awesome, right? Because you are not being reactive, meaning you are not waiting to someone like another person find a problem and then you react. You are monitoring your database and proactively getting rid of the data you don't want there. So
that's excellent.
That is an awesome and very powerful feature that I would advocate as much as I can, because that's what I feel it's lacking on the current version.
That's good. That's a very good call out. And I remember you kind of pointing out some of those gaps in the product when we were at the MVP Summit. So thanks for recovering and reminding me. I forgot, probably because my ass was messing with my camera when I should have been listening at that point. We don't use the process mining and task mining as much, so sometimes I might have checked out, but. Nonetheless, though, some of the points you made are incredibly valid. And even behind the scenes, when they were talking about some of these global tags that they were able to use now to kind of, that maybe we didn't know that were there already some sort of functional identifiers in the back end of our orchestrator instance that allow them to kind of track some of these data. So I thought that was really cool, and how they plan to leverage that in insights and in process mining and task mining. So very, very important and well needed improvements, on the software.
Absolutely. Because today, if I had that option, right, to kind of a sentinel, right? That is going to keep, watching for whatever I want. So I'm going to say, watch this database. Whatever you see that fits in this criteria, delete it. Right? If I had that ability today, it would make my life so much easier. Right?
Do you think you'd be able to scale easier and do more solutions with that too, or is it just
potentially it would help to scale, right? Because it would make easier the whole security analysis of the automations, right? So it would decrease the risk, the inherent, or how do they call it, the residual risk of the automation.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, right? Absolutely.
So then people would would be more comfortable in signing off an automation or signing off the platform as a whole, right?
Yeah.
Because today, the problem that I see, especially with the standalone on-premises or even automation suite, like one of the problems that I see today is that the platform, like I as a platform, I don't own the data, right?
Yeah.
So and I can say, no, I don't have any personal information or credit card information, right? The automations may do,
Yeah.
but I don't, right?
Yeah.
But then that doesn't count, right? Because still,
Yep.
eventually, a developer is going to very dumbly will create a log with a credit card, with the 16 digits credit card information there, and that is going to just screw the entire platform.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't want to do that. I can't even imagine. I think I told you I was with a company once that the developer published $1 billion company's SharePoint API keys on a public Git repository. So like the whole world could see this company's API keys to their internal technical SharePoint. So we're code repositories were.
See, you don't have to be. I'm gonna say a personal example that happened like very long years ago, like 10 years ago. It was back 2015, roughly less than 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I had like a lot of accounts, right? So back in the day, we didn't have that SSO was not a thing that everybody had.
Yeah.
Right? So we would log into several systems. Each one of them will have a credential, a user and password. So I had a spreadsheet with all my user and passwords, right?
Oh, yeah.
I was so wise that I created a backup, right, in my working computer. But then I thought, but I need a second backup. Guess what I did?
What did you do?
I sent to my Gmail.
That's a brilliant idea. So, nothing suspicious about this.
So I didn't have bad intentions whatsoever. Yeah. I just truly just wanted a second backup, right?
Yep.
But even though I was not acting suspiciously to my company, that was a suspicious
activity,
right? And no doubt it, right? They caught me.
Nope. They're
I had to explain, I have to prove, I have to do trainings, right?
Yeah.
All those mandatory trainings that everybody do.
Yep.
I have to redo, and my manager had to sign. So I went through a whole bunch of shenanigans just because I tried to. That's so dumb. I look back, that was really dumb.
Yeah.
See, you don't need malicious intent to create this kind of problems.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You just need bad. How can I say? Non-educated people, right? Even though they may be trying to do the good thing, the right thing, but they are not educated enough in that aspect.
Yeah. No, I faced a very, very similar situation with Tata when I was working at Tata, but they did some stuff very similar to this out of spite, right? It was a scenario where I had been working with that company for multiple years, and they'd given me 2 promotions without changing my title or giving me a raise. But they announced my promotion in the group, and sort of like I got a responsibility, and then I was given a title like to the team, but my title is anyway. I was able to negotiate a larger salary, but my mentor ended up leaving, and I decided, hey, I'm going to go work for him. Because he was a great boss, an excellent boss. So I had already like checked out, had already given my notice, and I said, hey, I appreciate the offer for the raise, but it wasn't anywhere near the raise that I was expecting, so I'm going to go ahead and move on. And so I was supposed to turn in my paperwork, and there's a whole entire backstory about how companies like Tata, as when you're a consultant, that you'll be working for client A, and then they'll have another client that's a competitor. They want to sell this stuff that you've been building, and they'll leverage your skill set to try to sell to another client, right? And they won't want you to tell your customer, right? And so they'll have you doing stuff and working on the side for proposals, RFPs that come in, and literally working on this stuff. You'll be sending them, like you were saying, sending them between your email and my TCS email and my USA email as I worked on it throughout the day. And you're not supposed to do that kind of stuff, like you said. It's contracts and RFP. It's like data and like monies and negotiations. But anyway, nonetheless, I did that because everybody was doing it that were working on the kind of gigs that I was working on. When I went in to go give them my badge, I ended up meeting with HR and then like another manager, and they basically said, hey, during our final review, we reviewed your account and it was flagged because you were doing this stuff. You violated security policies by sending emails, back and forth. And I was like, okay. And it's sort of like this weird blind side, but they tried to basically get me blackbarred from working with that customer because I left. Right. And so they used me like sending emails as an excuse to say I violated the technical policy, even though senior people, all of the talent who was asked to participate in RFPs to help them win millions of dollars was doing this practice of sending like templates and, artifacts that we were working on for these RFPs back and forth. So I can relate. I've been to that situation and I've been on the back end. Luckily, I was out, right? I was literally going there. They told me this when I'm there turning in my badge, leaving the company, like my last day. I was working remote and I came in literally just to give them my badge. I wasn't even gonna go in. I'm like, dude, I'll burn the badge. I don't need to come in just to give you guys a badge. Just say I lost it, or whatever. But then they were gonna charge me. I'm like, okay, fine. You're not gonna charge me $50 for a badge. I'll come and drop it off. But yeah, so that was a very interesting situation. So I've been there before. Sometimes it's not a member of you even being dumb or even being malicious. It's just a factor of what they're asking you to do. But some companies they'll leverage that as an excuse to do X, Y, or Z. So yeah, sometimes
right. But then back to you. Let me press the picture button.
There we go. There you go.
I was forgetting.
It was when you turned like stripes and you said, damn camera, dude, I'll never forget that. I laughed. I was crying. That was epic.
So but then I lost track. But back to the security. Well, you have so many different scenarios, right? And then when you don't have to rely on processes or on people, but rather you have the technology piece, backing you up and doing this kind of thing. That's amazing.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's what actually we need, right? Because then we can trust that there's a software working on the background, doing what we want the software to do.
So showing signs of intelligence.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's definitely the case. Hey, I know that we wanted to do get used to doing like an hour-long session, right? So we've hit that mark. I also think that we're experiencing some sort of in and out audio issues. I think that's when we flip the scenes. So one thing I want to do, Joe, is I want to get together offline and kind of retool some of these. I think that you and I want to add some consistency to our scenes. We've done cool, I think, with our freestyle, but I'd like to get us some consistency. So we'll get some actual backdrops, clean it up, give us a couple of things that we can be consistent on. So just wanted to say that. What final thoughts or closeout thoughts or anything that you wanted to discuss before we wrap up?
Final thoughts. Wow, there's so many.
I know, right?
Yeah,
save some for next episode.
Yeah, exactly. So there's so many things, right? We can talk, and regarding, we didn't even talk about the summit, right? I know we very high level talking about the process orchestration, which we saw there. I would love to go deeper in some other topics. For example, that one, I don't remember the name, but the one that it could create automations right on the spot. That was so amazing, but at the same time was so scary. And I know you understand that better than I, so that would be a awesome learning for me as well. But yeah, definitely, this is, I feel that we are fine tuning this format, right?
Yeah.
And I'm liking it, right? I enjoy coming here and talking and just spending this time with you. So that's awesome. I think we are getting towards our idea initially, right? Even though we didn't have an idea, but I think we are getting there. Yeah. Maybe we can elaborate. Definitely getting offline. Fine tuning the scenes and the camera and lights and also guests, right? I want to talk to George, and I just I can't wait to talk to him.
Yeah.
And the other MVPs as well, all the folks we met during the summit.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's so amazing, so many good ideas, so many different perspectives, and that's what I love. I was talking to a colleague of mine this week. At work, and we got into this conversation that to be very honest with you, like I am very open about this. Like I have a lot of experience, like almost 2 decades, but in other industries, right? When it comes to RPA, I have to say, like I have kind of limited experience to the automation scenarios, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I started doing this community work, was actually to get more exposure to, okay, what's happening out there, right?
Yeah.
Because I know so little. I know the automations that I created,
mm-hmm.
and I was the only one creating automations in my team.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden I was on the enterprise level, taking care of the whole company, right?
That's cool.
So I felt like I'm lacking on this knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And I started doing this more and more, and today, and I feel that helped me a lot. During the summit, listening to so many different perspectives from you, from VJ, from Russell, from Sharon, so many different folks, good folks, everybody there. And I was so blown away, man. I just have so much to learn from these folks.
Right? Yeah, I feel the same way when I get to talk with some of these people. Like people like Russell just blow me away with how deep they've gone on the product, right? And for the sake of improvement and learning it themselves. I wish I was as technical as that sometimes to be able to kind of grasp it on that level, right? But I think here is a perfect example that everybody can contribute value in their own unique way, right? I love the fact that we're kind of trailblazing here. None of the MVPs. I think there have been like one or two kind of like podcast-esque things, but again, they focus really heavily on the product, right? And I think that you and I will find our niche in helping people understand this market and helping break into that. And then understanding high touch concepts like, architecture and infrastructure and how you manage and articulate the value of tracking some of this stuff. So yeah, I agree. I think there's so much cool stuff that we can dive into. We'll continue to improve this, right? That's my commitment to not just people who stop by and watch, but also to you, Joe, is to I can continue to focus on continuous improvement, and we'll work to get bigger guests on here, bigger quality production, right? So yeah, I'm all in. Well, let's take some time, right? I think that's one thing we haven't done yet that we need to pick up, right? We add the structure. Let's take some time now and really build out our schedule. I think that's the last thing that we have, and I'll work with you to kind of make sure, hey, let's get a tentative schedule and then start targeting people and get them on the show, right? And so I think you and I have plenty of people we could invite. So
yeah, well, there's no lack of good people to invite. That's
true.
For sure.
That's true.
Right. And I feel that is going to bring a lot of value, right? Because at the end of the day, we always have to think, what is the value, right? Not for other folks, but even for us. Right? What's the point of coming here and talking? Right? Like, I like to talk to you just just by talking, right? But this is more than just friends talking.
Exactly. Yeah.
I agree. I think that question has to be there. What's the point of us being here doing this live on YouTube?
Absolutely. I agree.
But I feel so comfortable that asking this question, because like the synergy between us is there, and we can openly say what do we like, what we don't like, and then just shape the show like we want.
Yeah, I think that's the beautiful aspect here, is that neither one of us care about this as our show. We both care about how valuable can we make that, right? And the fact that we're comfortable asking these questions, the fact we're comfortable holding each other accountable for the improvement of this, right? I think that's great. We've tested it out. I think we're past the little pilot stage. We both like this, and we're wanted to kind of commit to improve the value. And I think, hey, you keep me honest, you keep asking that question, what value are we providing? And I think that as long as, we continue where we're at now and keep an open mindset, you keep asking that question, that we won't have a problem. We'll get to wherever it is that we want to go. I believe that. So cool. All right, dude. Well, hey, so for anybody who's checking this out after we've shut this down and watching the recording, we're going to be out next week. Joel's going to be moving. And so we're going to take that time to work on the actual layout of the show, plus the schedule, and kind of start lining up some guests. So next week we will be off, but imagine that when we come back, we'll have quite a few announcements. I'm sitting on an announcement I'm going to save. Joe knows about it, but I'm not going to tell the group. We'll save that for when we get back live again. So look forward to working with the group. Joe, it's a pleasure as always. So happy to have a conversation with you, good sir. I hope your move is comfortable and not too crazy.
Oh, you don't know how moving is then. If it's comfortable.
It's so, I move every 3 years, bro. I have like 15 different moves in 20 years. So I get it. It's a nightmare. So that's why you'll need a beer. You'll need a beer for the when we come back. All right, brother.
All right.
Well, you have a wonderful one. You and the family have a good one.
You too. Talk to you.
All right, later, brother.
Bye.
Okay. Mr. Media Analyst. That was another good show. I appreciate your help, sir. Thank you for... You already counted down? Or you shut us down? 3, 2...